So the second portion is do it right the first time. Now you know you have a topic, you know your message. Now you're trying to write down the script. I will not go every element of script writing because script writing itself is a vast subject. So three basic steps. One is that when you are writing, first thing you must remember is that your speech is going to be for 7 minutes and 30 seconds only. And the maximum number of words you can accommodate in a minute. If you speak on a normal speed, it will be around 135 words in a minute. But since you are on an international speech stage and you may have to use a lot of pauses and body language, always better to keep 110 words per minute. So think of having 770 words or 800 words maximum when you write your speech. When I went with my first speech, it had 879 words. So it was very difficult for me, and I did not want to delete anything because everything I thought that was dear to me, because I had rewritten this speech so many times, more than 50 times. So I did not want to get rid of those words. But that is a mistake. You must not do that. Always try to keep below 800 words. Second thing, this is a beautiful thing which was taught to me by Saleh Al-Kamiasi, DTM Saleh Al-Kamiasi. What he told me is that when my speech was over, he told me, no, Saiju, before preparing for your speech, what you do is that you write down the characters in the order in which they are appearing on your speech. For example, if the comfort zone speech is there, first is a boy, a mischievous boy who was standing near to the pond. Second is the duck. Third is the family having duck roast. Like that, the story will go. So just have to write down everything, every single person or element that comes into the story. Write down point by point, point by point, down. Just read through that. And if there itself, you will find something which is mismatching. So it will be very easy for you to delete certain elements from your speech which are unwanted. This is a good tip. It's a very beautiful way of editing your speech from the beginning. Third thing, verify the number of times your key message appear on your speech in different formats, directly or indirectly. How many times are you telling the audience the message that you wanted to deliver? So that is very, very essential. At least 3 times you must deliver the message throughout your speech. This is minimum. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Is there? Are you sharing any slide? Because we are just watching. There is no slideshow.
Oh, sorry. I'm sharing a slide. 1 second. Sorry.
So we just thought you're going to share. So I don't want you to.
Right. I will share it once again. Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Now, are you able to see it?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. This was the slide which was supposed to be shared. 1 second. So keep 110 words per minute. Write down the characters as they appear on the speech. Third thing, verify the number of times the key message appear on your speech. These are the 3 very important basic steps that you must think or consider while scripting and practicing your speech. Now comes to the opening. Opening of a speech is a place wherein you are telling people what you are going to tell in your speech. It can be in various forms. It can be in the form of a very impactful statement. It can be in the form of an anecdote or incident or a quote. It can be a toast of suspense, humor, a humorous story, or something like that. But everything should have that characteristics of the topic that you are going to handle, or the message that you are going to handle should be there in a subtle manner at least. Try to have a key phrase in your speech. This is where you are actually graduating from a small time speaker to a person who writes and finds a topic and writes a speech, to a person who is going to give an impactful message. What is a key phrase? A key phrase is something that is repeated throughout the speech, preferably before or after every transition. I see something in you. Lance Miller in 2003 has said, do you validate? We will later on watch his speech. And Vasilev Prislave, I forgot his name actually. He delivered the speech of a tire, changing the tire, and the message was reach out. The message was very prominent throughout the speech. So what we will do now is that we will watch the speech by Prislane Vasilev. 1 second. I'll open
Speaker.
it in the 1 second. Prislane Vasilev, sorry.
Speaker number 9.
Are you able to
Vasilev.
hear the sound?
Excuse me.
Only the sound, not the video.
Prasyan Vasilev.
Video is not there? Sorry.
No, video is not there.
Good luck. I'll mention your name and
No
you can
problem.
start.
No. You can see the video.
Now can you see the video? Now can you see the video?
9.
Not yet, sir.
Speaker number 9.
Not.
Initially, when you first tried to play, it was playing. Now it's
Audio is audible.
audio is coming. Yes.
1 second. Why is
No
it
problem.
coming?
Can hear DTM Murad's sound very clearly. Here
Now
it
also
is.
it's not visible?
Yes,
And
it's
now it's
visible.
okay.
Now it's visible?
Yes, sir.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Now sound is
Speaker
coming?
number 9. Vasilev. Excuse me. Prasyan Vasilev. Good luck. I'll mention your name and
No
you can
problem.
start. Prasyan Vasilev changed by a tire. Changed by a tire. Prasyan Vasilev.
The steering wheel jerked. I tried to keep the car in control. That night in Chicago, a flat tire changed me. I pulled in the nearby gas station, and under bright lights, parked on a slope leading to a busy street. Mr. Contest Chair, Toastmasters and guests, have you ever done something stupid? I broke the first rule of changing a tire. Choose a level spot. Friends, in Chicago, There aren't that many slopes. But that night, I found one. Why do flat tires always happen when you're dressed up? Opened the trunk, excavated the jack, unused for centuries. Rusty piece of metal. I thought, I can handle it. Loosened the nuts, placed the jack down. Half hour to remove the tire. The only support in front, the rusty jack. Back at the trunk, I pulled out the spare tire, shook the entire car. I saw the car going downhill. Bang! The jack collapsed. The car collapsed. My lungs collapsed. An inner voice said, "You are an idiot." Then another voice, "Reach out. Reach out. I can handle it." Lifted the car almost enough. Bang! If at first you don't succeed, almost enough. Bang! The car had moved to a steeper slope. I grasped the gravity of the situation. The people at the bus stop across the street were looking at me. I was giving a demonstration how not to change a tire. Then that voice again, "Reach out." Reach out? Should I involve them? Of course not. That's not my car. In the gas station, behind the counter, stood a big man with a big smile. Badge read, "Jesse." He said, "My friend, was your car doing push-ups?" I told him I did something stupid. I asked him for help. We got out. Jesse looked at the car and said, "You were right. That's stupid. Let me show you." You never know who you're going to find when you reach out. I found a DJM, Distinguished Jackmaster. Jesse helped me lift the car up. Rusty, foolish hand shook Rusty, helping hand. That night, I stopped to change a tire. Instead, the tire changed me. I used to believe that to reach out was weakness. I discovered my weakness was refusing to reach out. When you reach out, you attract ideas that lift you up. When you reach out, you attract solutions that lift you up. When you reach out, you attract friendships that lift you up. Maybe you want a better voice. Reach out to a singer. Maybe you want better writing. Reach out to a writer. Maybe you want better tire changing skills. Reach out to me. I'll give you Jesse's number. Is there something collapsed in your life? Your knowledge may be limited. Your skills may be rusty, but no doubt you'll be changed when you reach out. Mr. Chairman.
Well done.
That was the speech which I wanted. Is it visible to you? Oh, sorry. It's not shared. Is it visible?
Yes, ingredients.
Okay, right. So the ingredients of Prince Vasilyev's speech. What are the ingredients that you found? I'll just tell you certain things. A simple story. He is from Bulgaria and he was telling his story in his own style. It was a totally personal experience, touch of natural humor. He did not try to do anything extraordinary. Naturally, whatever humor came, he had put that into it. Simple sentences. If you see, Toastmaster Kamal, you were telling about Kapil, you were telling about language. So he had his own limitations and he did not hide them. Beautiful words and phrases. Though he spoke simple sentences, simple phrases, the moment he stopped and asked, is there anything that has collapsed in your life? That made all the difference in the speech. So the words he used were beautiful, simple words. Phrases were very small. He did not use something which is extraordinary. Key phrase, reach out, was repeated in different levels, in different times, in different styles. Message, nail the message. And the most important thing is that he was vulnerable on stage. He was ready to, because he was getting, some people, we feel that I have to be very aristocratic, or I have to be I'm an international speaker, I have to be there as an authority and speak. No, you don't need to. Be the person you are. Be natural. And in the entire story, the hero was a third person. He did not project himself as a hero. These are the learnings that you should take out of this speech. Don't try to do anything extraordinary. Say your story in simple words, in your own style. What you have to bring in is some beautiful phrases and words and some other usages which I will just share with you now. Nail the message. Repeat the key phrase. And ready to be vulnerable on stage, and never try to be the hero of your speech. Always put somebody else as the hero. The basic structure, there are two styles or three styles of writing a speech. One is that introduce a topic, reveal characters and situation, introduce a conflict. Once everything is going smoothly, then there has to be a conflict. How do you react to that conflict? Then comes result of that conflict. Solution for the conflict. required change for solution? What did you do differently? Or what did others tell you to do differently that you incorporated? Tell others to do or go for the action. So this is one classic way of writing your speech. This is where you are following a very, very structured way of your speech. And there is second way, state your point or topic. Say 3 examples, 3 different stories, or 3 anecdotes to support the point that you have made. Towards end, bring back that point which you made, reiterate the topic. This is a second type or style of writing your speech. And there is a third style, is that bring audience to the plot. You don't have to make any statement or something. You don't speak about the topic in the beginning. You just say something which brings the audience to the topic. Slightly telling a story or narrating an incident from there. And that's, if you ask me, Prince Vasilev's story was a speech was a mixture of both. Then you say how important the topic is. This was a mixture of both these styles, style number 1 and style number 3. Because in the beginning, he did not give a clear-cut statement. Instead, he started with a story and slowly brought in a message into that story and told them how important is this message reaching out to people. So these are 3 types of styles which you can incorporate in your life, in your speech. So you can, now you have got a topic with you, you have got a message with you. Now you will have to think of any of these 3 types of styles which you should incorporate while writing your speech. I want you to be very clear about this one. Do you have any questions on this? Because this is where you are actually getting into the structuring of the speech. Yes, somebody raised their hand. Yeah, right. Yes.
The thing is that actually, whenever we start with something or from our own experience, is there any way that which one will suit us? Because it's all, for me also, I have observed Abhishek also. Yeah. We just flow with our natural flow. Correct. So we never go with there is no structured way of or anything. Just go with intuition, just go with writing whatever comes in our way, and we just go with that. So is there any method that which will suit our persona or character or our speech? Correct. Is there any way to
that is why you need to have a structure? Because, for example, when we go for I'll tell you an example. When we are thinking of going for this what you call our newsletters, if you ask people to write articles for newsletters, they will never give you the news articles. So instead of that, you send them 5 WhatsApp questions asking them, what is one dream that you would like to achieve? Question number 2, do you really feel that it is worth? Third, like that, you keep giving 5 questions and they will give answers to all those 5. Then you write them with transitions in between your own words. It became an article. Speech writing is just like that. First you think, okay, my topic is this one. So what is the best way to introduce my topic? Write that. Then whom all I should in this one, in this story, maybe when you naturally tell, you may not tell about a person. My uncle who always inspired me, that would be the only way you will be speaking about your uncle. But when you write, you are revealing the character and situation. Then you will say that Ravindran Nair came to my house, an old man with a thick glass, who always had good thoughts and good advices. He was an inspiration for all of us. That way, you are actually bringing that person into this story, and he tells you something. As he rightly said, I had this conflict. I either had to leave my job and go for higher studies, or I had to think of my job. I do not want to leave the job because I was getting money constantly. So this was my conflict. Then what were uh, uh, the situation which I faced because of the conflict? Then what did I do, or what did Ravindran Nair tell me, which changed my outlook? And I quit my job and went for higher studies. And then later on, I could get both. And when I came back, I could get a job which was this one only because of Ravindran Nair. So the first salary which I got, I gave it to him. In this one, he said that this is so that I'm just telling a story just now for time being. So like that, you can bring it. So there is transition from one point to another, and it has got all the logical aspects to it. That is one way. Or the other way is that, for example, when I spoke on the topic of the shirt of Narayan, I started the story with the person Narayan giving the shirt and going. My second story was that in that year, 2016, in fact, from Abu Dhabi, my friend's sister and husband, they came with their child. Her thing is that she had never seen Santa Claus. So my daughter used to tell her that, look, Santa Claus will bring gifts for me. Then she was asking, no, what is Santa Claus? What is this one? I don't know. That night, what happened is that then we thought that, along with my friend, I thought that let me do something. So I bought a dress of Santa Claus, everything. And night we planned, and I came in as Santa Claus and gave her the gift of a doll, which was actually, in fact, my daughter's doll only. We did not have time to go and buy it. So, but the thing is that after 2 days, she believed that it was given by Santa Claus. And when she was going back to the Abu Dhabi, she was actually holding on to that doll very close to her heart. She will never forget what the Santa Claus visit he had in Muscat. Maybe after 10 years also, she will remember that. So it may feel like very funny, very this one, but the thing is that how you can actually create there are some acts which can bring in a lot of good element of means in the lives of people. So that was one thing. And the other one was, there is something called Clowns Without Borders. These are people who go to all these war-torn areas wherein they go and make children laugh. These are volunteers. So they don't have to actually, it's a very funny thing, which is people may not grade it as a very good thing. And if they are not people, we can easily say that what you are trying to make people happy. But for those children, those smiles are precious. During in that area where they are living like fugitives, they are living like people who doesn't have anything to eat, anything to drink, anything nowhere to sleep. That time somebody coming and making you laugh, they would have lost their laughter for a long time. So this is an act of bringing back laughter to them. So these kind of 2-3 examples you can say, and you can state your point towards it. That is one style of writing your speech. Third style is telling a good long story, initially not revealing the topic, telling a long story, towards end bringing the topic and telling people how important this topic or this thing is for their lives. So these are the three different styles. So some format you have to adopt so that it will be easily, you can also write it give it a structural format, and your audience also will be able to accept it. That is one thing. Main thing is that don't overpack your speech. Think that, okay, I have got 2, 3, 4, 5 instances are there. Let me put everything together so that it will be impactful. Don't do that. So when you are writing, you think of the best or most suitable incidents or stories or anecdotes that will fit into your speech. Third thing, the next thing is that read your speech first. Once it is over, read your speech in normal speed. This is one thing everybody should do. Then while reading out itself, you will come across certain things which can be easily edited. Then never have an emotional attachment with your speech in the initial stages. You will not be able to kill your darlings. So those darlings will be your darlings only. Audience may not like it, or they will feel that it is not required. So it may create a disconnection because you are too much into certain points, certain characters, certain incidents. So you may dwell too much on that point. So from the main area or the main message, you may get deviated. And rewrite the speech as many times as possible. So on an average, every time you make a speech, say that, okay, the shirt of Narayan, date you write. Next shirt of Narayan, next date you write. You let it be there. The old speech, let it be there saved in your file. But you can keep on rewriting your speech. And sometimes you may get deviated and you may have to visit back to your earlier script, and from there you will take a different turn. So never delete it, but keep rewriting and keep a record of it. Certain tips and tricks, what you have to do is that keep asking rhetorical questions. These questions are not, the answers are not expected. But these questions can emphasize the point that you want to make. Examples of what's in a name. Do we really need to trust our instincts? You are not expecting an answer, but from there you are actually making a very good point. Instead of telling you really need to trust your instincts, instead of that, if you can say, do we really need to trust your instincts? Stop it and then go. Like Wesley Priestley told, is there anything that is collapsed in your life? That's a rhetorical question. He doesn't expect any answer, but it made us think, and he could make the statement stronger with his next sentence. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? These are all rhetorical devices. So rhetorical questions try to incorporate in your speech. That can be a very, very effective tool. Next is similes. Similes are very beautiful. I knew it like the back of my hand. She looked as cute as a kitten. My father stood by me as cool as a cucumber. These are all two different things. You are comparing them with each other, but it will be very effective, and it gives what you call imagery in the minds of your audience. Like similes, there is a slight difference between similes and metaphors. Similes, always you say as cool like a cucumber, like, as, and all will come. But metaphors is something that you take them into a different world and make them believe that this is that. Life is a foreign language. We all find it hard to understand in our own ways. From that day, for me, my office became a battlefield. So you make them feel that these are all real. You are taking them to an means imaginary world. So fear is a bee that feeds on attention. So these are all, you are taking them to the next level from similes when you come to the metaphors. Now, the most beautiful thing is that instead of using 4-5 sentences, if you use triads effectively, it can be very space saving and word saving. For example, the pandemic was so bad, it made a lot of loss, jobs were lost, and we had a financial crisis during that time, and a lot of people died, even some of my relatives. Instead of having these kind of a big sentences, 3-4 sentences, you can easily say the pandemic made us to lose our jobs, our fortunes, and our lives. Let's save the nature by reducing, reusing, and recycling plastics. So like that, triads can actually save a lot of space and words and make your communication more effective. And our next speaker is a master of triads. And Lance Miller is a person who has inspired a lot of people. So let us watch his speech now. 1 second. I would like you all to look closely at his style of delivery and how he is using triads. 1 second, let me just share the screen. Stop screen share. Is it visible?
Not yet.
Not yet. Sir.
Not yet. 1 second.
No problem, sir.
Let me just see. Now?
Yes.
Yes. I believe. Well, okay, share sound. Oh.
Our next speaker,
By mistake,
Jim Key.
I wanted to.
Never too late.
Okay, Jim Key.
Never too late, Jim Key.
The movie theater was quiet. The aroma of overpriced popcorn permeated the air. You settled in for the perfect family outing, and then it happened. The film that you were watching took a sudden emotional turn. You try to resist it, but you can't help it. And before you know it, your eyes begin to sweat. You may not care that people see you crying in public, but the last time this happened to me, I was thankful the theater was dark. Until my lovely young daughter, who doesn't know it's okay to whisper, pierced the darkness with, "Are you crying?" Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone who's ever gotten misty at the movies, never ignore inquisitive children. The longer you do, the louder they get. In a matter of seconds, my daughter shouted, "Why are you crying, Daddy?" When this happened, the movie that my family and I were watching was The Rookie. On the surface, it's a movie about the oldest rookie in professional baseball, but on a much deeper level, it's about reclaiming life's missed opportunities. When the movie ended and I realized what a great teaching opportunity I had, I turned to my two sons and I said, "Guys, what did you learn from this?" Imagine how proud I was when my 16-year-old said, "I learned that my dad cries at the movies." My 12-year-old took the question and his well-being a bit more seriously. He said, I learned that it's never too late to follow your dreams. It's never too late to follow your dreams. Why does it sometimes take a child to remind us of that? It's because children are uninhibited dreamers. In fact, last year I was speaking to an elementary school assembly, and I asked the question, if you could have any job in the world, what would it be? And one little guy said, ooh, to be the guy that rides on the back of the garbage truck. Who knew? His passion was proof that he knew something many adults have forgotten. Dreaming is fun. It's natural. And it's necessary. Every notable accomplishment in human history began as a dream. Do you remember how you dreamed as a child? Back when we had this wonderful sense of innocence, we could gaze into the future and imagine all sorts of possibilities. Then we turn our focus to adulthood. And many of us find that by the time we actually get here, we hit a wall. And we stop dreaming because we can't see past next week. Why? What happened? Somewhere along the way, we learned a painful truth. We learned that failing to achieve our dreams hurts. We encounter critics who ridicule and crush our dreams, and it hurts. And we hear an inner voice that says, please, no more. I can't take being hurt again. We convince ourselves that it's better to just give up those things and do what we're supposed to do instead of longing for what we were meant to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we were meant to dream. We were meant to dream. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of the greatest dreamers of our age, said, the time is always right to do what is right. And that means that if it was right for us to dream as children, then it's just as right for us to dream as adults. The question is, do we have the courage to dream? I am privileged to know a remarkable teenage girl who does. Her name is Nicole. And you should know that Nicole is hearing impaired, she is vision impaired, and 3 years ago she survived a stroke. That's not fair. If anyone has the right to give up on dreams and just accept reality, she does. But instead, I've watched Nicole redefine reality, not according to her physical limitations, but according to the size of her dream. As part of that, 2 years ago, I watched her stand on a huge stage in front of almost 3,000 people and perform the sweetest song I've never heard. She sang it through sign language, and I didn't just see it. Deep inside, I felt it. Instead of hiding behind justifiable excuses, there she stood, teaching me it's never too late to follow your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you dream? Or is the better question, what did you dream and why did you stop? If you've ever let a dream slip away, I'm here to tell you, it's not too late. If you can summon the courage to overcome your circumstances and your experiences and your critics, your dream can live. Whether you dream of making beautiful music or not getting caught crying at the movies. If you dream of changing the world or riding on the back of a garbage truck. If you forget every word I've said today, it would thrill me if you remember this.
So that was a stunning speech. In fact, I wanted to show you the speech of Lance Miller. Somehow this speech came in between. This was in my collection, so that is why. But this is another speech which you must watch again and again. Very beautiful speech. Okay. Oh, sorry. 1 second. So what I'll do is that in this speech, this is one speech wherein it got the imagination of Toastmasters around the world. The way he used body language, the way he used the stage, the props, and he established the characters there. Everyone, his sons, the girl, everyone. It was a beautiful display on how you can use your stage to your advantage. Now, what I have missed out here is that, can you see the screen?
DTM Saiju, I have something to.
Right.
If you want, we can again replay the same speech which we missed out, and then we can come back. We have no problem. We're just 7 minutes late, and it was a phenomenon, anyways. So it will help you to hook what you have done for us. It's okay.
Right. Okay. No problem, because since I don't want to overpack you, the thing what you can do this as a homework for you is that go and watch the speech of Lance Miller. He is a great speaker. The title of his speech is "Do You Validate?" It's about, do you validate people in lives? That means there he sees that, for example, do you add value in the lives of the people around you? That is what this speech is all about. And I believe you must go and watch this speech from Lance Miller. The elements, the ingredients is, in this speech, it's a nicely edited speech, hand gestures, composed movement, confident delivery, transition, and use of triads. Triads is what you will have to actually look in his speech. In his speech also, the hero is a third person and he is vulnerable on stage, but how beautifully he has used the triads in his speech and how much space he has saved. So in 2000 and I believe 2011 or 2012 or something, he had come here in Oman and he had taken a 2-hour class on speech crafting, Lance Miller. So Lance Miller speech you can see, and the base thing what you have to look is the use of language and use of triads in his speech. Now comes to the speech conclusion. Speech conclusion, you must always summarize the main point, and the conclusion, there are two types. That means one is that it should connect and compensate your speech opening. Whatever you have said in the beginning and what you established in the body should connect with your conclusion. You must not bring one extra message towards it. From the beginning, that message can in fact become, the magnitude can increase, and it can become a huge message. Or that same message can be reiterated towards the end, but have a connection. Next is that the most important thing towards the end, like Jim Key did. Jim Key left all of you by capturing your imagination with his closure. That is what most of the best speakers do. So that should be one thing which you must think of while thinking of your conclusion. How can I capture the imagination or leave the message in the minds of my audience for a long time? That is the second step. And now the most important one on preparation. This is a favorite story of mine. In 1988, both of them together scored sorry, 664 runs, which became the world record for a long time until it was broken 2 years back, I believe, 1 or 2 years back. In 1996, many of us will remember Kambli crying and leaving the Eden Gardens. He could not perform. But after 2 years, in 1998, that was the last time we are seeing Kambli. 1998, Shane Warne was a master of spin and he was ruling the world. And in 1998, the first test was in Chennai. Sachin Tendulkar came to MRF Pace Foundation, and for 3 continuous days, he made a leg spinner which India had, Lakshmana Shivaramakrishna. He made him ball around his legs for 3 days, and he was practicing alone. And that in that test of 1998, Sachin dominated Shane Warne, and he was called the Master Blaster. The difference between Kambli and Sachin is that Kambli had all the talent. He had all mesmerizing shots he had. But the problem is that he did not dedicate himself. He did not practice enough, because there is no substitute to hard work. The thing if you have made your speech, if you have gone through all these steps and written down your speech, the next thing what you have to do is that you have to practice it minimum 15 times in front of the mirror, anywhere. And one thing which my mentor used to tell me is that even if you're driving the car or you're doing something or you're just trying to sleep, just rewind your speech without stopping. If you are able to do it 15 times, each time you are able to do it without stopping in between, you make a note of it. Like that, 15 times if you are able to tick it, then you have mastered your speech. You will never ever forget your speech. That is the thing. And be yourself when you are going to deliver. Original is precious, copies are not. So try to be original and practice as much as you can. Now you have a topic, you have a speech. Now we are running late, but we will move to the third section, that is your first language, that is your body language.